Yo, shouts out to everybody who is currently watching. If you remember last night, I said I was gonna finish this in the morning. So I'm here in the morning to finish this goddamn thing off. So that's what we currently doing right now. As I've said, when you have these type of characters, a lot of these old school black characters, they would have high top fades sometimes. And back in the day, when they was designing high top fades, you could tell that this was not black people designing this. So I'm trying to come save the day on that real quick. Try to get him back, make sure his fade is on point, so where it actually looks like a goddamn fade. Yeah, let's not make his fade too low. Let's fix up those edges. Let's get the homie looking right. Hold on, wait, pause on that. Let's get this character looking professional. Let's just say that. Okay, so we got the edges. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. I can copy and paste that actually. Let's see if we can right click, transform, reflect, and flip that over. Let's try to get it lined up. Let's get the homie lined up. Back in the day, it seemed like nobody had lineups. A lot of cartoon characters, especially black cartoon characters, always had bad hairlines. Shit, not even cartoon characters. Just a lot of these black men in these older, like 1990s shows, just had bad hairlines. Like, what was the barber's own back in the day? Like, was the barbers just like, yeah, we gonna cut your hair, but all that hairline shit, fuck all that. Nigga, you from Africa. Keep your original hairline, nigga. You ain't fixing that shit up. So yeah, I'm here in 2023 to fix hairlines of the old characters. Like that was my only purpose of these videos. Fix the hairlines of all the old characters. You know, you see how crispy his hairline is? Look at the original. Look how they massacred my boy. Why does his hairline have to look like this? Come on, son. Now, I know my hairline fucked up in real life, but come on. Even my shit is straight. Even though my shit is, is thinning, as they say on SpongeBob. Even though my shit is thinning, my shit is still straight, though. I ain't even lying my shit. My shit is straight. Like, but, yo, like, why they had to do my boy like this? Why his hairline had to be like this, man? Who was in the studio? Who was drawing? Because y'all was being disrespectful. I'm not feeling that shit. So yeah, so we got, as you can see, yesterday we was working on C-Bear and Jamal. And we was trying to get them right, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to get them back to their original looks. Of course, I couldn't find just a solid picture of these dudes, man. So I had to, do some improvising and, quantifying, whatever word works, and trying to get them back to their original look, but, just a little bit cleaner. And as you can see, I cleaned up everything. I have a lot of the line work very close to the original. So when you look at it, you can tell, like, what type of look this was supposed to have. Actually, the only reason why I got off last night because my battery is dying. I usually could run a whole session and run through this whole goddamn thing. But what we're going to do is start doing our shadows before we start doing our colors. Now, if I'm not mistaken, did C-Bear have any hair, or was that just all bare head inside? Yeah, that was just all his head. So cool. Let's add the shadows inside of there, and let's get my boy out here dipped. Let's get my boy clean. Now remember, when you add in shadows, always try to add shadows to necessary areas where you feel like there would be a shadow within that area. One thing about adding shadows, I could attempt to do a tutorial on that, but one thing I want people to understand is you can't necessarily like teach. I mean, you could teach people how to apply shadows, but you can't necessarily tell people like where shadows could be in every project, because it's I want to say the word to say is it is subjective. It is really something you have to look at within yourself and kind of make that call. Like, okay, I feel like shadows should be right here on his head and right there on the body and shit like that. So what we doing right now is just applying shadows, seeing what we can get out of it so we can detail them a little bit. Now, I know I said that I was trying to keep this original far as the looks and whatever, far as the looks and the colors, but I just wanted to add some shadows and highlights a little bit, not too much, but just enough to where when you see it, it just looks a lot more cleaned up. But I definitely stayed with the original look of the characters. You can see, as you can see, the way they look like the original. It doesn't look like I did way too much upgrades to it. And I wanted them to have that look. You know what I'm saying? I want this image to be available to anybody that's online that used to love this cartoon. I'm not gonna lie to you. Me and my kids watched an episode of it last night, and I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it, yo. I remember I told y'all I never really seen this show a lot when I was a kid, and when me and my kids watched it last night, we wasn't feeling it. My son was like, "Nah, this is just corny." My kids wasn't feeling it, but my kids ain't from my generation. You know, my kids are spoiled with all the nice stuff that we have of today. But, you know, my kids wasn't feeling it. They was like, man, that shit corny. My kids just like Bear. They just like him because of his voice, just like how I was when I was a kid. You know, people love that deep, raspy voice. Yo, shout out my guy Kent Vice coming in early. Coming in, as they say in Philly, he coming in early. All right, so who is that? I'm actually glad you live right now because I just be driving at work with nothing to do. Yo, what you be doing? Truck driving or something? Must have been a white dude drawing Jamal. Yo, for real though, like, yo, was it a white dude drawing this show? It's only because they're, like I said, like, and you know, not to be offensive to my white people, but white people know this. Like, there wasn't like a lot of like black graphic designers back then. So like, I honestly do think it was like a bunch of like older white dudes like doing a lot of the designs and shit back then. So like, they would make their hairlines look crazy like that. Like, yo, why is this hairline like all goofy looking? Like, it doesn't look like a black person's hairline. I feel like I've said before, a lot of times when you have cartoons and shit like that, you should have people of that culture working on it so they can keep things from being offensive and shit like that. Because I spoke on this in previous videos when I was talking about like a lot of times, like back in the day with a lot of anime. Like anybody, me personally, I'm not into anime. I don't like that shit like that. I just like the art aspect of anime. I'm not like some super anime fan, and I actually take offense to that when people even say that type of shit to me. But like if you notice in like older anime, like they used to like make black people, not only black people though, because they would do it to some other races too. Sometimes with Arabic, and like they just would make our cultures in just a very goofy way, especially black people. Black people used to have like that weird Mr. Popo look, even though people say Mr. Popo isn't a black person, but still, you know, a lot of characters just had that weird looking look. He said, I drive a road truck for a trash removal company. Yeah, to each their own, but anime just weird to me. Yeah, see, like, I never, like, been super into anime. Like, I feel like anime, that was, like a real nerds thing. And then, like, some people, they just liked it. Some of y'all, let me address that. Some of y'all ain't even really into anime. Some of y'all just watched a couple episodes of Dragon Ball Z and decided to dress up like some anime characters. A lot of y'all really ain't even really into anime like that, if we just keeping it real. But I never really been into anime like that. That's not really my style. To me, when I was younger, that was corny. Like, anime was always like my homie's thing. Like, when I was a kid, my guy LB was like super into anime. I wasn't super into anime, but like I said, I've always loved the art of anime. Because I always feel like if you can draw anime, that's some of the highest level of drawing to me. Like, you already know how, like, when you was in school, it was always that one kid in class that could draw anime real good. Like, anime is like the highest height of like art to me, because I feel like if you could draw just straight up anime characters straight off the top of their head, all the angles and the details and all of that off the top of the dome, no reference images. That's like, to me, that's like some of the highest levels of drawing. That type of drawing. And if you notice, in Mexican culture, a lot of the fonts and graffitis and shit like that they do off the top of the dome, that's some of the highest levels of drawing, in my personal opinion. Is I loved Pokemon as a kid, but I liked the cards mostly. Bro, let me tell you something about Pokemon. Pokemon gotta be the most Pokemon was some of the most loved shit in the 90s, and everybody jumped ship at some point in time. Everybody, they treat Pokemon just like Barney. Real talk. Like, a lot of dudes treat Pokemon just like Barney. Like, it was a bunch of people that was on board when everything was hot, and then as soon as like one person said it was corny, everybody jumped ship. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I used to see dudes fight over Pokemon cards, bro. Like, real talk. Like, I remember in school, I seen a kid get robbed for some Pokemon cards. No bullshit. They beat up this kid in the bathroom, took his Pokemon cards, and went around selling them shits the whole day. Like, to all my people who not from that generation in the 90s, y'all don't know like how popular Pokemon was. Like, especially when the Pokemon games came out, like for the Game Boy. That shit was serious. Like, kids was on that shit. Like, you know, like kids was robbing each other. Kids was doing a lot for the motherfucking cards. You know, and the crazy thing, he said, I finessed hella kids in some trades. See, he was one of them finessers on that bullshit. Just like I said. One thing about Pokemon is Pokemon used to be like that was like some shit that niggas like really liked. Like, I remember like a long time ago, when I first got into it, I was just always intrigued of why people liked it so much. And I remember one time I stole this girl's Pokemon cards. And I never forget, like, right afterwards, I felt so bad about stealing them. Like, but I just couldn't give them back. Like, I already had this shit. I already did the jug. I was like, damn, I can't get these back. You know what I'm saying? I already hit the lick or whatever. I took them home. And I remember I just gave them to my brother because just felt so bad about it. And then, you know, it's so crazy. I actually regretted that shit for years. Like, damn. That's how I knew I never really was built for stealing from people and shit. Because when I had took her shit, like, you know, I felt bad about it, but then, you know, I just wanted all those nice cards, like, so fucking bad. And a lot of people ain't gonna admit this shit to y'all. Like, a lot of people was really, you know, stealing cards, and people used to do a lot of wild shit for Pokemon cards back in the day when I was young. Straight niggas who be in the street that be straight gangsters right now. Guarantee you they used to have a little greasy ass stack of Pokemon cards in their pocket. Ask them. If you think I'm lying, ask a nigga around my age that's around 30 that was born right around the 90s or late 80s. Trust and believe, they was on them Pokemon cards, nigga. In the hood, in the suburbs, all that shit. Dudes was really in the hood having Pokemon tournaments, nigga. Get the fuck out of here. If I'm lying, prove I'm lying. They say, nah, but it's grown men that watch anime that make it weird to me. They be into hentai and shit. Oh my God, bruh. Okay, so listen. I don't have a problem with people like, you know, really doing the whole like anime thing. It's only because, like I said, one of my best friends that I grew up with, he's into the anime thing. And like I said, I've always liked it for the art. I just don't like it when people get too weird with this shit. It's like, okay, cool. You like the anime, whatever. But then there's like this weird childish vibe about it that dudes go too far with this shit. It's like, yo, okay, we get it. You like it? We get it. Okay. Now it's like, okay, now you getting naked. You know, now you spending all day, every day wearing these anime outfits. You stanking. You know what I'm saying? You musty. You going to every comic convention. You ain't getting no money. You looking goofy. You look like it's Halloween every day at your motherfucking house. Like I said, I'm not dissing anybody that's with that lifestyle. But I'm saying, like, sometimes some people, they take it too far to where it's weird. It's like, come on, my nigga, it's getting weird now. Okay, I get that you like it, but you getting too crazy with this shit. Like, for real. Yeah, it do be grown ass men dressing as females, doing this weird hentai shit, or it just be like, dudes over like 40 and 50 doing like weird hentai dances and weird hentai art and stuff. I don't know. It just gets weird when the deeper you get into it. Now, like I always tell people, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But do understand that it is a limit with it. And then once you start getting too weird, like you start getting weird pedophile vibes. And I'm just not with that. Like, yo, like shit just be getting a little bit too strange sometimes. But like, it's a difference though, because I don't want to discourage anybody that likes that type of stuff. If you do like that type of stuff, there's nothing wrong with liking that type of shit. But understand that there's a limit where it's like, okay, we're getting weird now. Like this is getting a little bit overboard. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like that because I'm just not super into that type of shit. I don't take shit that far. You would never see J Damage out here dressed up as My Hero Academia. It's just. I just feel like I'm just too old and mature for that type of shit. But it doesn't look weird when you're young. It just looks weird when you're old doing it. when you 40 plus and you still out here going super crazy with it, then that's when it's creepy. Yeah, it's I completely agree, to each their own. Yeah. I don't want people to feel like I'm dissing them because, they have that type of that type of lifestyle. I'm just saying, like, it just gets weird when you're old doing it. When you're old doing it and it's become like this lifestyle where you can't even think straight, and it's like you're losing touch with reality. Straight up. And like, if anybody doesn't believe me, just look this shit up I'm talking about. It's like people who like, they have a term for it. I can't remember the term for it. Let me search it up. I just want to be completely clear on what I'm talking about. It's a term for it once a person like gets like too like crazy with it. Okay, yeah. So basically they have this one thing called a weeb. And a weeb is a derisive term of a non-Japanese person who is obsessed with Japanese culture that wish they were actually Japanese. Now, it gets weird sometimes because once you get into this lifestyle and you like the anime stuff, like I always said, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of something. You want to dress as it. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like once you start losing touch with reality. See, now, once you losing touch with reality, you start doing things to disrespect yourself, or especially when you're doing weird things with children and shit like that. I can't fuck with you. And that's always just been my thing. But yeah, like back to what I was saying, like about like in the as far as the early 90s and the art shit, like I do one thing that I always liked about anime is just the level of artistry to it. Like it was this dude I grew up with named Walter. He used to draw anime, and still to this day, I haven't really seen too much people who can hold a candle to this man's drawing level. This man's drawing level was just unmatched, bro. Like, I don't think, like, it's so crazy. Like, if I was to see this dude again, I'd tell him straight up, like, bro, you need to start a YouTube channel. Like, his level of art was just incredible, bro. And he was a fuck up in school. He didn't give a fuck about nothing in school. Like, he was like one of them type of dudes where he was just like very rebellious about everything. But I used to always tell him, like, dude, you like your talent is just like unmatched, bro. Like, you could be a millionaire like off this shit. Like, he would be like effortlessly drawing like little anime characters and shit like that. And bro, you would think that he was drawing like full episodes and shit. You would think that he was somewhere in an animation studio or something. Like, he was so talented. He was gifted and he wasn't even trying. It always disappoints me when I see people like that that's like so gifted and they have all of this natural talent and they just abuse it and just not even use it. But I don't want to speak down on him because you never know. He could be fucking somewhere famous or some shit right now. I'm just saying, like, when I used to see him doing that shit back in the day, I used to be like, yo, this nigga does all this anime all day and don't do nothing with it. And that's how a lot of y'all are. A lot of y'all have all this talent, all of these gifts that God has naturally gave y'all, and y'all don't even use them. But the good thing is that's where people like me come in. And I show you how to use these type of programs so you can utilize your talent to get to where you need to be as a creative. And one of the first ways you can start is by following the nigga J Damage, dropping a couple donations, And and me showing you how to put the cartoons together so then you can add your own style and do your own thing and show me some love as soon as you blow up. That's all I'm saying. I ain't asking for no money. I'm just saying when you blow up, show up. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. As you can see, if you just now checking into this video, we are working on C-Bear and Jamal. Of course, I already did all the basic line work yesterday. Now what we're doing is adding shadows, highlights, and colors to the project. As you can see, I'm currently using the pen tool. I'm coming around the outer lines with the pen tool, and I'm just trying to make sure I get all of his shadows correct. I don't always do it like this, but I'm just different with every project. You don't have to follow the exact what do you call that? The exact order that I do this. But it is good to follow this method if you are a beginner. I do recommend you using the pen tool and the curvature tool, because once you master these, you will damn near master this entire goddamn app. I mean, application, whatever they want to call this. Once you master this will open up the doors for a lot of things, especially if you in an anime. You in an anime, you want to get weird and dress up and all that. Man, learn you some Illustrator and make you some anime, man. For real. It's yeah, I hate watching natural talent not be put to use properly. I know a few people like that. Oh my God. He said, got all the talent, but no true drive or hunger to put it to use. That was something I seen a lot in battle rap. Oh my God, dude. Some of these dudes in battle rap, they have the potential to be millionaires, if not billionaires. They have a natural gift of putting words together, constantly repeating those words in their head, and then using those words to attack a person verbally, to humiliate a person verbally, and to and it's so crazy because they remember this in a short amount of time. It always trips me out, like, yo, it's almost like they always like settle for pennies when it comes to the whole battle rap culture. And I used to always think that was weird. And then a lot of times there's always shaky business when it comes down to battle rap. And so I'm not going to necessarily put it all on the artist. But sometimes, with the business of battle rap, it's a lot of shaky business where you're like, okay, this is why a lot of people ain't coming up. A lot of this shaky business that's going on behind closed doors that a lot of people, just don't speak on. But I'm not with that shit. That's why as soon as the battle rap shit got shaky for me, I said, oh, hell no. You niggas can keep this shit. That's one thing about me, my nigga. I had talent before all of this shit. I don't need that shit. I just was really trying to show love to my brothers in music. But once the shaky shit, they try to put the shaky shit on me, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, for real. It said, I see you, bro. Yo, Diz, I'm actually about to be starting on yours today. But Diz, if you are watching this, let me know if you wanted me to work on your design on live stream. I already was sketching it out, but I didn't want to put your stuff on live stream without your permission, because I don't like putting people's projects on live stream without their permission, for exclusive reasons. You know what I'm saying? You may have a certain date or a certain look that you want exclusively to not be shared, because of, you never know, legal reasons and stuff. Because I do know you actually upload your music in a legit way, unlike a lot of other artists. But oh, he said that sounds dope. Okay, cool. Shit, I might put you on tonight then. I might do yours tonight. It's a facts. They say if you can write a rap, you can write a book. Ooh, that's deep. Yeah, hell yeah. Because think about it, when you writing a rap, you're doing so much focusing on putting these words together. And just think about, because if you really think about how difficult it is to truly be a lyricist, to truly write raps, not only do you have to write words that rhyme, but they have to make sense. And to do that within itself is a talent. You have to, that takes a lot of thinking and putting words together and having to really make these shits rhyme and fucking make sense. Because if they don't make sense, you're going to look goofy. That's why I always feel like battle rap is so dope, how, they will have to think on the spot and, and go crazy on the spot on a person. It just, Very hard to do, especially when you have a crowd of niggas that's just ignorant as a motherfucker, and they feel like, nigga, if you even slightly do wrong, the whole crowd will turn on you. Like, it's a very stressful game. And shout out to my guy Fofo Cannon, who even introduced me into the whole battle rap world. I wouldn't even got none of that shit if it wasn't for him. It said, I can tell by the eyes you got a J Damage design in your profile pic. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like, actually my profile pic, that was an NFT that I made, but NFTs got shaky, so I ain't fucking with that shit. But, yeah, that was an NFT that I made. And, just to be all the way honest, none of that shit sold. That shit ain't going nowhere. That shit was low key a waste of time like a motherfucker. It is what it is, though. That NFT shit was a waste of motherfucking time, dog. If I could go back in time and make some changes, nigga, I'd have never did that dumb shit. That NFT shit was shaky. Signature style. Yeah, I have a signature style. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at a lot of my designs, well, like, you know, as far as my characters, because I don't want to offend nobody, because I'm not using really my style on the way that I'm putting together the Sea Bear. I'm using my style as far as the highlights and shadows and shit. But my style, if you pay attention, like Ken is saying, I have like a certain way that I put designs together to where you'll know that I did it. Like if you look at the way that I put together the eyes, the mouths, the hands, like certain things that I do, I make sure I do them a certain type of way so people can know it off top. If you watch me and the way that I put together designs, you're going to know like, okay, Jay did this shit. And you're going to know if somebody else do it, you're going to be like, okay, they're copying what Jay was doing. Because one day we all won't be here. You know, none of us will be here. But you have to think about your legacy. When you was putting things together, was it anything signature that you was doing that people could always remember you by and possibly copy one day? One day I want all of this shit that I'm doing to be used. One day all of this shit is going to be used with somebody else, and hopefully the methods and the skills that I'm teaching people, hopefully one day this can help somebody else going through something make some money too. You know what I'm saying? Like hopefully, because you know I was in a bind at one point in time, and this, you know, really got me out of my financial trouble. So hopefully I could teach somebody else to use these talents and get themselves some money too. Cause nigga, I take care of 3 kids with this shit. And if I could take care of 3 kids with this income, imagine what some of y'all can do who don't even got motherfucking 3 kids. Cause I take care of 3 kids by myself, nigga. They say on the graphic design tip, do you think products are mandatory like Photoshop and Illustrator? Nigga, hell nah. Hell nah. And don't get it twisted. I've been with Photoshop and Illustrator for 10 years, bro. Hell nah. Don't ever get it fucked up, bro. Don't ever let these, especially these internet graphic designer niggas have you thinking that you need Photoshop and Illustrator and all this high end shit just to be dope. Nigga, if you dope, you don't need nothing. You don't need nothing. They got what you call that shit? I done lost my point. I done turned up. But they got programs basically to create raster based images, and they have programs to make vector based images that are not Photoshop and Illustrator that you can use and still get the same results. It's just that I feel like these are the best to use for universal projects because most graphic designers use them and most companies use Photoshop and Illustrator. So if you do want to get things printed and things of that nature, it's best to use these programs because universally, if you want to get certain things done, they're going to ask for these programs. But these aren't the only ones. Don't get that twisted. Like if you guys want to use raster based programs and shit to create cartoons, I encourage you, do what you have to do, what makes you comfortable. Don't watch my shit. I mean, no. Watch my shit. But I'm saying like, don't watch my shit and think to yourself that you have to have these programs in order to achieve these looks. There are hella other ways, and there is hella other methods in order to create what I create. There is other methods to create what I create. Because like I always tell y'all, this method that I'm showing y'all, this is just one method I'm showing you. Do you realize there's so many different methods? Because y'all know I also do 3D design. I do Photoshop design. Not only do I do this type of color design, I do stacked color design, all of that shit. So there's so many ways and so many different programs. This program is just good to use if you're just trying to achieve this type of look with cartoons. But there's so many other ones. It say, what would you recommend Adobe for beginners? Now he said, would you recommend Adobe for beginners? I guess it just depends. It's a preface thing, right? So I would say I would recommend Adobe for a beginner if you got it like that. Like if you got the money to pay for it, because understand that this Adobe shit, you have to pay for it monthly, bro. This shit is not cheap. That's why I always tell people, that's the reason why niggas be taxing for a lot of these projects, because they paying hella money. I wouldn't recommend this shit for a person that doesn't have the budget. If anything, I would recommend getting a lot of the free tablet programs they have right now. If you got you an iPad, a newer iPad, an iPad Pro, or one of like the newer tablets and shit that they have, if you can get one of those and get you one of the free programs, get you a free program, get yourself good with that free program, and then move on to getting like this more serious shit. But as of right now, I wouldn't recommend it because, bro, Adobe is taxing like a motherfucker. They taxing like a motherfucker, and I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner. Now, if you're trying to get straight into this shit that I'm doing, then you got to use these Adobe programs. But I wouldn't recommend them if you're a beginner. If you're a beginner and you strictly just trying to get your feet wet, then go try some other things first before you get into this, because this shit is not no cheap game to be jumping into. You got to have your money right, and you got to have your motivation right to be wanting to do this every day. So let me see if anything else is said. He said it's like 50. Yeah, it's like 50. It's more than 50. It's like damn near 60 a month. It say, I want to mainly create logos, sports graphics, and t-shirts design. Man, everything you just said is 3 different things. Like logos, of course, there's different types of logos. It's just text-based logos, symbol logos, and then character logos. And all 3 of those you can achieve in Illustrator and any type of vector-based programs. Sports graphics, I'm not really sure what you mean by that, but sports graphics, a lot of those you can achieve that in Photoshop. And t-shirt designs, that's Photoshop or Illustrator. It just depends on like what level of t-shirt design. Like if you're just trying to do like a t-shirt design with more realistic images, you want to really stick to Photoshop and just any raster based programs. And then if you're trying to create t-shirt designs, that's really kind of like more of symbols and more of like higher end words that are bent and different things like that, you want to go to Illustrator, because you want to keep word based things really in vector, so you can resize it and all that type of shit if you need to. So I hope that answered what you asked. But like it's really it's levels to it. As corny as that might sound, it's levels to what you want to do when it comes down to these type of programs, because some of this shit, if I could go back in time, I probably would have learned that free shit first. Bro, because that free shit, I feel like that would have, that would have helped me determine if I really wanted to do this shit. Like, let me try this free shit out and then see like how I feel about it. Then I can make a decision if I should keep fucking with this shit. Cause this shit is stressful, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. In 2016, I really contemplated if I should stop doing this shit. I was like, bro, this shit ain't really getting that much money. I might stop fucking with this shit. But then them customers kept coming. And that's the only reason why I stayed in the game. If my customers would have stopped in 2016, y'all wouldn't be seeing me doing this shit right now. The customers kept coming, so I stayed in the game. Yeah, man. Crazy. Shout out to everybody that's coming in, hitting like. I see my nigga Cookies. David James Fisher, I believe we spoke before. Shout out to you for coming in and checking out, showing love. Shout out to True Maid. Shout out to Jazz Watson, baby girl. I appreciate you for coming in, showing love. Shout out to my nigga Cookies for sharing everything. And I'm going to get up off this, y'all, because I got to go pick up my kids from school. I'm going to come right back in about a good 20 to 30 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and finish up what we're doing. And yes, Kent, I do have the same number. If you call, I don't know which number you had though, but if you call, I should pick up, I should pick up, or if I don't answer, you already know, call me on Facebook or one of these social media accounts that I'm on, because I'm always checking my shit. But I'm about to jump off, y'all. I'm going to come back in like 30 minutes so we can go ahead and finish this. I got to go.